This is Small Secrets, Big Rewards, ATC. Tip number 8, become a pragmatic optimist. The first and most important step toward success is the feeling that we can succeed. Nelson Boswell. Take the long view. Life is a long-haul venture. We've been trained to want it now, and if we don't get it now, we throw what our parents used to call a conniption fit. We don't like how we look, we apply makeup. We don't like how we feel, we take a pill. We don't like how our clothes fit, we have liposuction. We don't like our life, we watch someone else's. We're a quick-fix society with everything easily within reach. The remote for life right at our fingertips, and we're not above channel surfing to find something new when we don't like what we see on the TV. The hard and fast truth of things is that quick fixes don't work for the long haul. In order to have anything that lasts, you have to prioritize. If education is what you need to get where you want to go, eventually, then you'll have to prioritize schooling. Trying to maintain the balance between schooling, partying, and socializing is hard enough when you're a college student. But when you're an adult with kids and a spouse or sick family members that you're the primary caregiver for, it's not going to be any easier. But the rewards are well worth the juggling and struggling. The question you must ask yourself is, how much do I really want this? And then it becomes a matter of acting accordingly. Like all the changes discussed here, it's not easy, but it is worth it. Stop. Day by day, we're inundated with television shows that fill our heads with notions of how the other half lives. And yes, we try to emulate that, especially in dialogue and mannerisms. We adopt ways of dressing and speaking and eventually behaving, no matter how ridiculous or detrimental to our relationships it may be, because we see something in the character on the screen that we'd like to see in us. Whether it's the snappy comeback, the glib or cutting remarks meant to blow your enemy or competitor's mind, everyone wants to look, feel, and be considered witty or desirable. What most folks don't realize is that the very dialogue and probably even actions that they're trying to adopt into their own lives have been written and rewritten a handful of times before the final draft gets shot. Sorry to burst your bubble about the lovely land of television, but folks, it's not reality. It's a distillation of contrived circumstances. Even reality TV isn't reality. The people you watch and want to emulate are little more than parodies of themselves and their worst, most reprehensible qualities. This is not a model to try and live up to. It's a warning sign. We cheer when the bad guy or girl gets trounced, and yet we emulate the very behaviors that brought them to their knees when their series finally runs its course. And then we wonder why we're so miserable. It's a literal example of you are who you pretend to be. Of course, on TV, the good guys are boring people who consistently make the most positive choices, lead smoother and more blissful lives. But for entertainment purposes, bliss is boring. Strife sells. Sadism sells. Characters who consistently make the wrong choices make us feel better about ourselves. But if that's the case, why do we adopt, at least on the surface, the very qualities that we abhor? No one can be two people, except Geminis were born for it, of polar opposite natures and create for themselves and those around them a stable and positive life. So the next time you're tempted to slap someone with a cutting remark or a glib retort, or take part in an action whose repercussions won't dissipate with the snap of a marker or the director yelling "cut," do yourself a favor and stop. Think about whether or not what you're about to say or do is going to be constructive or destructive. Peer into the future of your particular circumstances. We all have the ability to anticipate at least some of the consequences of our actions. We just need to get back in touch with that ability. How will you be perceived for what you say or do? Is that the image you want others to have of you? Is that the example you want to set for yourself or those who may look up to you, even though you might not know they exist? Words and actions both have vibrational frequencies that give them power on an energetic level. With that being the case, you become the one who wields the power. How will you use it? Will you use it as a bludgeon that destroys, or will you use that power to create? The choice really is yours. This has been Small Secrets, Big Rewards, ATC, tip number 8, part 1. I will carry on with part 2 next time. Thank you very much. If you hear anything that's valuable to you, please like and subscribe. and feel free to share the information and keep hoping.